Okay, so this exercise is something called doubling, and the concept comes from the manual of Thomas Mathewon. What doubling is that we are going to stand on the hanging guard. I am going to cut 7. He is going to respond by parrying that cut with a St. George. He's going to immediately cut 7. I will respond by parrying with a St. George. Then I will cut 7. We'll go back and forth like a metronome. Every time I cut 7, I'll lunge. Every time he parries on a St. George, he shifts. And it just goes back and forth. And the idea is to get it going fast and to get cutting at each other with intention and with intensity and with speed. But for this version of the exercise, the opponent's actions are completely predictable because nobody's going to do anything unexpected. Okay, so this is one of the doubling exercises from the hanging guard. We're going to be exchanging cut 7 to the head, and that's all we're going to do is back and forth 7, 7, 7, 7. But at any point, either one of us can choose to attack the leg instead, and the other one has to spot it and respond appropriately by doing the shift and counter. And we're going to go kind of slow at first. Head, 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 head. All right. That's doubling. Now I'm going to build up the speed bit by bit until we're going as fast as we can manage. Yep, don't get it every time. Got to be right on top of it. A little bit more. Okay, even when I come around the other side, don't parry it, just shift and counter the head. This is the most likely side for me to attack the leg, but I could come around the other way. Yes. So this is another of the doubling exercises. This is going to be from the hanging guard. We're going to be exchanging 7, 7. But at any point, either of us can choose to make cut 5 or 6 instead. The other one has to parry successfully, most likely on one of the half hanging guards, and then continue without a pause. whenever you're doing the doubling exercises, when you've pushed it as far as you want to push it that time and you want to break, just step out of distance, and that's the signal. Okay, so this is going to be a doubling exercise from the outside guard. We're going to be exchanging cuts 1 and 2, and all it's going to be is I make cut 1, he parries. He makes cut 2, I parry. I make cut 1, he parries. He makes cut 2, I parry. Just back and forth like that. This is the doubling exercise from the outside guard, but we're adding in the leg cut, so it's also a shifting counter. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, back and forth. At any point, either of us can attack the leg. The other one has to shift and counter. This counter is more likely to land on the arm than the head, but that's not an absolute rule. So you got to be watching and waiting for it, and as soon as you see that I'm going for the leg cut, make sure you shift and come down immediately. Make sure you throw in some leg cuts against me too. The arm is a closer target from this guard, that's why these counter. Next doubling exercise is also from the outside guard. We're exchanging cuts 1 and 2, but at any point, one of us could make cut 3 or 4 instead. And it's not going to be random. The person who's making cut 1 may make cut 3. The person who's making cut 2 may make cut 4. But it shouldn't really be on the opposite side. It should be the same side cut. And as you can see on that one, you do get a few awkward moments where, because I've just parried outside half hanger against 4, when I go up with my cut 1, he may end up parrying on the half hanger instead of on the inside guard. And that kind of messes the sequence up a little. And when that happens, don't worry about it. Just get back into the sequence as soon as you comfortably can. It's not a case of having to do it perfect. It's about training your body and your brain to be on top of the changes when they come. So now we're doing doubling exercises from the inside guard. The first one, you're exchanging cuts 2 and 1 back and forth from the inside guard. Next doubling exercise is also from the inside guard, also exchanging cut 2 and 1. At any point, either of them can throw a leg cut and the other one wants to try to shift and counter. Okay, and the next one is also on the inside guard, also using the 2-1 cutting pattern, and it's going to be the option of 3 and 4 again. So the person who's making cut 1 can make cut 3 instead. The person who's making cut 2 can make cut 4 instead. And the final doubling exercise is any guard allowed, any cut allowed. Okay, so if you don't have a training partner and you need to demonstrate the doubling exercises solo, or you just need to practice them solo, all you do is you imagine your opponent. And so it's the same way that you would do flourishing practice. So you begin on sloped swords, and the first doubling exercise, which is 7-7, take a hanging guard, and you just exchange head cuts. And the second doubling exercise, which is 7-7, but with the possibility of a leg cut. Occasionally you throw in a leg cut, and occasionally you throw in a shift and counter. Then with 7-7 and 5 and 6, same thing. You throw head cuts back and forth. Occasionally you throw in either cut 5 or 6, or the parries for cut 5 or 6. When you get to the doubling exercises from the outside guard, starting off, his pattern is 1-2. So you cut 1, parry 2. Next one, you throw in the occasional leg cut or the occasional counter to a leg cut. Next one, 3 and 4. If you're the person making the first cut, you occasionally throw in a cut 3, you occasionally throw in a parry 4. If you're the person who's parrying the first cut, you do it the other way around. You occasionally throw in a cut 4 or a parry 3. Now, the next set of doubling exercises from the inside guard, you're exchanging cuts 1 and 2. Next one, you occasionally throw in a leg cut or a shift and counter. Or, that counter doesn't always have to come in with a big moulinette over the top. It can just be. Next one, you throw in 3 or 4, same as on the other side. And the final doubling exercise, any cut, any guard. And that's it.